Really cool.
Okay, let's see. This arm's dead. It's got some Bengay on it.
Hmm.
Sorry.
3,
3,
2,
2,
big one.
big one. Get the stone
and
cold on you.
and huh. Start it.
What
Me?
up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna steal it from JR this time.
Cool.
What up, folks? It is a Friday night. Wink, wink. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know what I mean. It is our weekend tradition leading up to our regular episode where we break down the week that was the Falcon and Bucky show, and I'm still stealing that from the artist. No, it's Falcon the Winter Soldier, episode number 3, our breakdown of the Power Broker. That was the title of the episode this week. Real quick, the man to my left, to my right, he is omnipresent. He is all over the place. He is the Dark King. He is JR Cabacungan, also not JR Comics 42 on Instagram, where he sells his wares. Yes, sometimes if he's looking for a date on a Friday night, he'll sell himself. No, I was kidding. I'm just messing with you, JR.
We don't talk about that no more.
No, we don't talk about him.
We don't broadcast that.
But nonetheless, he is my broadcast partner. He is my Falcon to my Bucky. And well, I don't know. Maybe he might be Zemo. I don't know. We'll find out as we break down. I am, of course, the voice of reason at Voice of Reason 23, Kevin Pillow. Who I just caught my breath from this episode, and I watched it this morning.
Yeah.
Oh my God, JR, this episode.
That's good. It was really good.
Can we redo our redo of our collections episode from last week, which is available now on YouTube and anywhere podcasts are available? We kind of went over, God dang, JR, just the last 6 to 8 months of the market in comic books, Star Wars, Independence, DC, and Marvel. Just in the last, actually, I'll give 12 months. The last 12 months, the market has gone crazy. Yep. And it's gone full bullish in the last in the last we're now in April, the last 4 months. Yeah, so check that out. I'll have it at the end of the episode if you're watching on YouTube. If you are not, scroll on through the previous episodes on whatever you listen to your podcast. But don't mind me. I'm going to hit play. This is not a watch along. I'm just using it as reference in the background. Yeah. I have, like I said, I've already watched this once today. I'm going to watch it again. Actually, as soon as we're done with this episode, I'm going to watch it with the old lady.
Yeah, but it's really like just overall feel and just initial reaction to it. Kevin, I'll let you start off, my friend.
And we're saying this just as we went off the air. And we've said this for 3 episodes now.
Yeah,
is the feel of the episode in episode 1 was the cinematography, the look, the feel, the kind of grittiness of the camera, the tight shots, the feel of the episode. It felt like Winter Soldier. It felt like Captain America 2. Yeah. And this is not done by this again. This is not the Russo brothers. The Russos are not involved. This is pure Feige. And the director is
Kari Skoglund,
who is killing it. If you have not, I'm telling you right now, if you're thinking about if you are thinking about getting her a promotion on storytelling, thinking of characters that are coming up, they don't have anybody from Moon Knight yet. Give her Moon Knight. I even joked around, work a trade, send her over to Lucasfilms and bring. I was thinking about this over the weekend.
Okay,
is there room out there for Taika Waititi to do a Disney Plus show? We know he's gonna kill it with Thor: Love and Thunder, but I'm thinking, like, can you give him Moon Knight? Oh my God, what he would do with Moon Knight?
It'd be crazy. It'd be really super interesting. Dude, I've been saying it since day 1 of this since episode 1, man. Lock her up. Just really legit. Like, give her a long-term contract to do whatever the hell she wants at this point. With whatever type of Marvel movie she wants to. Hey, let's get her on for maybe 5 to 6 things, and 2 of those could be movies, and the other 4 let there be, like, these shows, these like one-off shows of these characters. Because honestly, I know that we talked about this beforehand. This story specifically has to continue. This specific season has to continue. There's just so much going on just within 3 episodes. And the one thing that I really absolutely freaking love about just the feel of the whole season or the show is pacing. The pacing is amazing.
Yes, yes. Well,
Pacing is really good.
we start out the episode. We have a little commercial with the reparation
Uh,
state or whatever it's called, the
yeah,
GBC, and then what it is, it's an organization that took the people that were blipped and kind of get them back on their feet.
Mhm.
And we know now after episode 2 that the Flag Smashers, led by Morgenthau,
Yeah.
Carly Morgenthau, doesn't like that. She's like, hey, what about again? What about the poor? What about the people that legit are poor, that have been
Mhm.
poor for years and didn't get blipped, that were chosen, were chosen by the cosmos, by whatever's
Thanos.
out there, almost by Thanos, that we needed to stay on Earth, and that's why we have the Flag Smashers. But we start off with John Walker,
Mhm.
again, very much wanting to live up to the hype that he is Captain America, that he is this idol. And remember that word. We're gonna get to a very important part of the show.
Yeah.
Remember that, an idol, a signal, a symbol
Mhm.
of of greatness, so to speak. And we see John, the difference. We start to begin to see the difference. We knew there was going to be a difference,
Yeah.
but truly the difference between what happened when Steve Rogers rocked the shield and the get up, the spangly outfit, and
Mhm.
John Walker. And we are starting to see a little bit, like I said, of the previous incarnations, so to speak, of the Ultra Patriot. You know, we mentioned
Yeah.
the Patriot from Agents of Shield. We
Mhm.
mentioned the character from Jessica Jones, Nuke.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just sticking with the American, with the Captain America kind of lineage, Steve
Mhm.
Rogers, John Walker, um,
Bucky.
Bucky who was a Cap at one point.
Mhm.
Sam, we know inevitably has to become Captain America. We
Yeah.
know we've met Isaiah Bradley,
Bradley.
so we're starting to see John Walker crack a little bit. He spits in the
Oh yeah.
guy's face. He kind of loses his temper, beats up the guy, kind of kicks him in the nuts almost. But
Mhm.
uh, this is not our Captain America.
No, absolutely not. It's an interesting take of how every character is being played out, and I love this aspect because there's necessarily when you break it down, right, as archaic as we want to have, who's good, who's bad in this specific what Marvel right now, or what Carly's specifically trying to do, is that she's having there is no evil people, there's no good or evil, they're just people, but they have motivations. And that's
Yes,
one thing that I entirely enjoy. Granted, granted that we in our in real life, quote unquote, right, we want to know who's the good, who's the bad, oh, this new Captain America, because he's not my Captain America, oh, he is the bad guy. But honestly, genuinely, he's a guy that wasn't blipped out of existence, that was, that is a heavily decorated soldier for America, basically, and he's, that hometown kid. And awesome. And he is definitely that, he wants to be seen as Captain America, as the good guy. He wants to live up to that. Or he wants to be the best person that he could possibly be. Right? Same thing
he's
with
gonna sit there in the shadows.
with this guy.
That
Right?
guy,
Yeah,
that
and I
guy.
love the and for those who are listening to us on an audio format, I'm pointing to Zemo Zemo is my background right now, and just having him. Oh, the way the second scene where they had where Bucky and him have that conversation of just
And
like, seeing,
seeing Zemo for the first time
yeah,
since
and
he
like,
tried to screw him up.
yeah, and just and of course Bucky says that doesn't work anymore. He goes, yeah, yeah, just wanted to see, type of thing,
Worth a
right?
shot.
Worth a shot, right? And this is the one thing that I loved, right? I'm glad they again continue to have the character as well as the actor, because dude, the actor's been in so many good films per se, and I'm so happy to have him back, because it's like, again, it feels like I hate it when actors and actresses are wasted, right?
Absolutely.
And so having him back is just one second, I'm gonna try to find his
Is it Daniel Brawl? Is that his name?
Daniel Brawl, but I'm trying to like find his recent. Like I remember a specific film that he was in that I absolutely freaking loved. Inglorious Bastards.
What was he in Inglorious Bastards?
He was in Inglorious Bastards, right? He was Frederick Zoller. I totally forgot. He was in Inglorious Bastards. He was in 2 Days in New York. I don't remember that one. He was in Rush. I was a good one too. Rush. He was also just in the last couple of years. Let me see. There was a specific one that I watched. That's right. He was in the Clover Paradox. I wish it wasn't necessarily that great, but he was good in it. Clover Paradox. He was in a little bit of TV. The Alien. Oh, that's right. Yeah, there you go. He was in Alienist. I love the Alienist. Which was on TNT, and he played, if I remember correctly, it was like a small thing too. He played like someone. He played someone where his focus was on like mental illness. I forget, like it was back in like the early 1900s per se. They're doing that, and so they're trying to figure out, like, I think was it some type of a. I remember, dude. I don't know if it's my COVID fog, but I remember watching the show. I forgot it. So weird, but it was on TNT, and he was in it. He was the main guy. Luke Evans was in it as well, and so that's the reason why I watched that one. But I remember him in the Alienist, and like I was like, dang man, they really should have kept him, right? And then now he's here as Baron Zemo, and just having his interactions with Falcon and with Bucky, Winter Soldier, has been really freaking good. I love that he plays
so good.
Foil. He's not the villain, but he's definitely the foil.
And we saw, obviously, after the scene that Jared just talked about with Bucky, we see kind of like an amalgamation between the scene where where, oh my gosh, Justin Hammer broke out Whiplash in Iron Man 2, and a combination of like Ant-Man, kind of a heist movie where they break out Zemo. And it's funny is it's Bucky telling Sam, this is how we're going to do it. And then they're in this garage, and Sam goes, who the hell is that? Wait, you did it? Wait, what? This was just an idea. And he goes, you executed it
already.
And of course, we know now that he thought he got away free and clear, but well, so we'll find out in a little bit. He set off some alarms, but this goes into a kind of a sequence here. We now have Zemo. He's in his garage. They're going, wait a minute, he's got all these classic cars. One of them is, I just realized this, and I could be wrong. I'm going to have to go back and watch Captain America, Winter Soldier, Captain America, First Avenger, is the vehicle that he gets, the classic car he gets into where he has his mask. We see it for the first time. Looks like the car that we last saw in First Avenger, last driven by oh my gosh, Tommy Lee Jones and Peggy Carter, where it was Red Skull's car. The one he goes, not a scratch, and he hands the keys to Harlem Zoloff. And of course the car is eventually stolen by the SSR. But another scene, here we go. Sam goes, hey, what are you, rich? And he goes, Sam, I'm a baron. And then we went, yes. Finally, we get a comic accurate when it comes to a bad guy like that. They didn't do it with Strucker. They just called him Von Strucker. I think that's what they go. They never referred to him as a baron. Now we know that in his with his backstory, so to speak, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where his son, the young Strucker, they described him as a typical rich kid, and they kind of gave his background of where the Strucker family was. It was alluded to the same way with Helmet Zemo. He comes from money. So did the Strucker. So I guess technically Von Strucker in Age of Ultron was a baron, but we never officially, we never got the name. And we got the closest thing we got to Daniel Brühl's character Zemo was in Civil War, where he refers to him as Helmet Zemo, which is his formal name. But him being called Baron Zemo, just like, made my day. I was so stoked.
It like I enjoy that because one, of course, sure, fan service, but it's good pop, but it also helps progress. I like that input because it helps progress the plot forward. one, how the heck are these our guys gonna travel the world, right?
Yeah.
Oh, just give Zemo, just basically give Zemo all his money. Just give him all his money. That's it. Like that's true. He's a baron. He has money. He comes from money, and so he's just a way to basically, you know, have it be one true in this sense, and just have him have plot progression. Yeah, is basically get the guy with all the money. It makes sense. You're
Just
gonna be traveling the world. You're gonna be traveling to multiple places in Europe specifically, and so yeah, it's nice to have a guy with a private jet.
yes. So just for those who are keeping track at home, Captain America number 168, first appearance of Baron Helmut
Mm,
Zemo. He is disguised as a character named Phoenix. The book came
yeah.
out in December of 1973, written by Tony Isabella and Sal Buscema. Was the artist. The first appearance of the second Baron Zemo in classic costume previously appeared in Captain America 168. It's the Phoenix. So Baron Zemo appears in Captain America 275. That book came out in 1982. J.M. Damatius was the writer, Mike Zeck, the artist. So a couple of
Mm,
key issues I'm going to throw in there for you guys keeping track at home. So
yeah.
we get on this private plane, like JR says, and
Mm,
we hear shortly in this. Well, first off, let's talk about the monologue. We find out that we're going to go to Madripoor. First time that this for the primarily a mutant locale. That's
yeah.
where a lot of the bad guys go to speak. And it's a place that Logan, hung out from time to
Mhm.
time to kind of get away from stuff. But we hear a great interaction between Zemo and
But
Bucky and
yeah,
Sam talking
yeah,
about idols, talking about Western culture and
yeah,
their infatuation with putting people like Steve Rogers, and he also kind of hints at athletes.
yeah.
And this kind of goes to when, like, for example, like Charles Barkley famously said back in the 80s, I'm not a role model.
Yeah.
I'm just a professional athlete.
Mhm.
It's not my responsibility to inspire your kids. And he's not wrong. And
Yeah.
Zemo kind of just goes a little bit more dark
Yeah.
with the comparisons because he's a bad guy. He's an asshole. But oh my gosh, I texted you. I'm like, why am I agreeing with Zemo? It's like what
Well,
the
it's definitely the truth. I feel it is definitely a westernized ideal where, well, I can't say just western ideal, but like it's been more prominent. I will say that in specifically Western ideals, because we've had back since Greek times where they worship the old worship of pagan gods, and making statues of them and trying to see this is who we should follow, when if you really legit read Greek literature, they're all assholes. They're
yeah.
complete absolute assholes. And Baron and Zemo said that specifically, like, when we covet them, we forego their flaws, basically, right? I'm paraphrasing, of course, but like he says something along the lines like, we don't see their bad parts, and we only see them as the idols that you worship them for, because they are then seen as just that, as these as idols, as people of applauded, or you're set to look up to and wanting to be for, right? That could be good and that could be bad, but then when you place that certain onus, when they're talking about the shield specifically in
Yeah.
in that situation, the shield should have stayed with Steve. And that it's hard to have it's hard to put the ideals of who Captain America should be with just an object, right? And how we view it as an idol. And so when that specifically when that shield is given to someone else, right? And they're supposed to be taking upon that the goals and the ideals that the old idol had, right? And then we see that huge difference when the Captain America, Johnny Walker, that we see isn't Captain America,
Johnny Walker.
isn't that,
Love it.
but then he's still seen as Captain America. He's still, majority of MCU America sees Johnny Walker now as Captain America, and we have this huge conflict between Bucky and Falcon, and to a lesser extent with Zemo, saying that what are they going to do with the shield because of what it represents. Like I freaking Bucky said that, I'm just gonna take it back and destroy it. Honestly, I'm just gonna freaking just melt it down or something. And when you got and we got freaking Winter Soldier or Bucky, just him saying like, no, before you do that, give it to me. because because again, when you place idol worship on things, right, on just small things, right, you don't know what it represents to other people, and that's just the whole thing. What Zemo just putting in exactly. You covet its good, but not its flaws. And this whole thing. And I love that Zemo is definitely the freaking foil in all of this. He's he's playing that part really, really well. He comes off as super sophisticated, super intelligent. He looks like he's always one step ahead of everybody else. And the line that he gives, one of my favorite lines of the whole freaking episode was when they're walking to Madripoor.
Yeah, I was just gonna go to this one. I wanted to get your opinion on this one.
Yeah, they're walking to Madripoor and and they're dressed up as different people, and the Falcon is dressed up, he's dressed up very casually. He's dressed up really nicely, but he calls himself like, dude, I look like a pimp. And the best line I freaking saw was Emo saying only an American would think of a fashion forward black man could look like a pimp. I'm like, yes, thank you.
Now,
They brought up the negligence, or if not not the negligence, but the comparisons and the hypocrisy of American culture
yeah.
when brought in the open scope of like, okay, well, America isn't all the world. What about Europe? How does Europe view black people? How does Europe view Asian? How does Europe everything? There's more than just the American opinion, and I love they just shortly interjected that into this conversation, but it was so poignant and to the point, and I
Now,
freaking love that line. That was my favorite line of the series of the episode.
Now, for those of you doing a little Google search or look at on Key Collector, the character that Sam Wilson portrays as he enters into Madripoor, his alias is Smiling Tiger,
Mm-hmm.
aka Conrad Mack. Now, I went to Key Collector. Pardon me, little 805 burp there. Sorry. And I've read one article from Screen Rant, and I was trying to find it again, but I can't. Google's being a pain in the ass. That they're saying that Conrad Mack was a little known character, that Smiling Tiger did exist in Marvel continuity, but I just can't seem to find it. So maybe I'll try to find it a little bit later. But that's the character he's playing. So they're going into Madripoor, where it is a classic Marvel, most specifically X-Men universe style of location, which typically kind of the bad of the bad are there. It's very much, what it reminded me of, and I was thinking about this after our conversation earlier, JR, is it kind of reminds me of Tortuga, which was a island in the Pirates of the Caribbean mythos that was a pirate island. And it was where all the pirates would congregate after their pillaging or whatnot. But that's kind of what Madripoor is. It is a home of the world's scum and villainy. It is a pirate island. It's Tortuga. It's Madripoor. I would like to throw out too, when we mentioned this a couple episodes before, or a couple podcasts before, that I've become addicted to the game Animal Crossing New Horizon on the Switch. Do you know what the name of my island is?
Oh God, what is it?
Madripoor. And people are going like, I don't get it. What's the name of your island? And I'm like, you'll get it soon.
Yeah.
We do see the scene, which I thought was kind of cool. For a second there, I was like, uh-oh, did Bucky snap? Because you hear Zemo go, Winter Soldier, kill, or something like that. Yeah. He says, obviously he says it in was it Russian or something like that?
Yeah.
Or in Sokovian, or I don't know. But Daniel Brühl just looking like a badass / serial killer / reaper. Again, a lot of just kind of back room, very, what's another one, JR? Very John Wick-esque, very, very dark. We do get to meet another character. I think this is Selby.
Yeah, Selby.
It's kind of like a take me to your leader kind of person. And it's the person before the person. It's like, before you meet the power broker, you got to go through me. We learned some things about what really is going on with the super soldier serum, the super soldier program.
Before
go ahead,
before we continue that, actually the writer for that specific episode did write actually John Wick, so that's why you see a lot of themes like they kind of like interact with each other, or they overlap. There you go. So
Yeah.
the actual writer for John Wick did this episode. I'm pretty sure he was.
And it does. It has that feel like when they're walking to the back room to meet Selby.
Yeah.
I think it's Selby or Celebi, but Celebi is a
Yeah.
Pokemon, so I doubt it's Celebi.
Selby.
But just to, again, to show you the importance of Madripoor, is there was a scene where they kind of find out, or they had to kind of prove themselves,
Yeah.
before they get found out.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a gun,
Mhm.
and you know, though we did see Zemo get his classic gold plated Desert Eagle, basically,
Yeah.
for those Call of Duty fans. But he does what he says. I can't, you know, basically I can't be armed because I can't, you know, I can't tell who I am. So,
Mhm.
but again, just you mentioned, when we were talking on this phone, throughout this episode, if you really want to go over it with a fine tooth comb,
Mhm.
you can find some problems. But for the most part, you are so enthralled with this episode,
Yeah.
it's hard for you to find any faults.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, like, was it
Oh
an
yeah.
English teacher?
Yeah. I'll be speak on that. Like, I've had comments already made to me about like my roasting of Zack Snyder and his works and a lot of other things too. Here's the thing with me specifically: the second you take me out of the zone or whatever, right? The second you break my immersion, the more I tend to find faults at that point. This was a perfect example where like when I was still in college, one of my professors, right, she broke it down like saying that would just saying that, you know, whenever you turn in your paper, you know, if it's an essay that you need to do, right, and she was a writing teacher, she said that you have to make me not want to critique. Basically, you have to make me not want to, you know, look for problems and errors, right? Basically saying that, you know, if your first paragraph, right, of what you write has more than 10 to 20 spelling errors, then already in her mind she's into the editing mode, right? Rather than looking at your draft or your paper as a whole, right? Basically how it flows. That was one of my biggest things, you know, when we're talking about Zack Snyder. When I'm looking at Zack Snyder, he breaks my immersion pretty damn often, right? Because of just like how he sets up certain scenes or how he does certain things, and then from that point on, I'm looking at it like, all right, cool. Now, what other scenes is he doing this way? When it comes to like, and I do it with Marvel stuff too. I've done it with Civil War. I've done it with Civil War the second time. I done it. No, actually, I did it with Winter Soldier the second time. I went to watch the first time, great. Second time, I was analytical. I saw so many things wrong with it. I saw definitely like, oh, that doesn't make sense, right? And I do it with more movies. I do it a lot more with DC movies because of how easy they break my immersion. And with this specific series, right? I was enjoying the ride the whole way through. And it wasn't until maybe, you know, maybe one or two things did really like, you know, kind of break my immersion just a little bit, but like everything else was just so good that I'm like, ah, whatever, it's fine, right? Like, you know, like Sam having a full-on conversation in in the air, right? In a, you know, having a full-on conversation with, you know, a cell phone with what's his name again? The other character? Joaquin?
Joaquin Torres.
Joaquin Torres, right? Like, okay, you have, you know, cellular
So you have
you
cell
cellular
service on a
fixed.
planet like 30,000 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, really? Okay, but whatever, fine. He did it twice, right? I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine, whatever. You know, it's something. My immersion didn't break from something that small, right? I noticed it, but at the same time, I was so enthralled with the whole thing, with the whole package, that those things are definitely, you know, like I'll overlook them. It's fine. It's whatever. As long as the whole thing, as long as the package is still primo, and definitely, absolutely, this series has been primo, 100%, man. Like I've been saying, give Kari, the director, anything she wants, anything.
Well, one of the comparisons that I read online, about this episode and kind of preparing for this recording, is that people are not calling this a sequel to the Winter Soldier. They're calling this a proper sequel to Civil War. And
Mm,
that's what we're seeing. You know, we're
mhm.
seeing we're seeing Falcon, who maybe necessarily wasn't a major character in Civil War. I mean,
Yeah.
he, now that I mentioned it, was he even? Yeah, he was in the show because he fought with again Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But that was where we saw these two. We saw Bucky and Sam kind of meet up for the first time, and we see the difference between Bucky Barnes and the Winter Soldier trying to separate themselves. We get to meet Zemo for the first time, and we get to meet another character who makes their return in the most unlikely location, and that is in the city of Madripoor as a essentially, I would imagine, some kind of maybe a money launderer. And that is Agent 13 herself, Sharon Carter. She is the grandniece of Peggy Carter, the famous Agent Carter from the SSR, and of course the co-founder of Shield. We last saw her, and I thought about this continuity issue. Like, oh my gosh, everyone's making a big deal about the last time that Sharon, we saw Sharon, she was on the run from the government because she gave us back the Shield. And I'm like, no, we've seen Sharon since then. And then I went back and I'm like, no, we haven't. The last time we saw Sharon Carter, she was kissing Steve Rogers and giving him the shield, giving Sam back his jetpack, and giving Bucky was locked up. He broke out when he fought everybody.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, Agent Carter, technically Agent Carter. Agent 13, Sharon Carter, was working for the CIA at the conclusion of Winter Soldier when Shield fell. She, of course, left Shield and went to work for the CIA.
Yep.
That's where we meet her after the explosion at the UN, which we get a reference to early on, that Sam is trying to tell Bucky, this is the guy. Why are we breaking this guy out of prison? He blew up the UN. He killed King T'Chaka.
Yeah.
And he framed you for it. It was him. He did it. What the hell? And so we get a lot of Civil War references.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. It is fitting.
I love that line that she first made too when she came back in, right? Where she was like, I'm on the run because I gave Wings your ass to give to save his ass from his ass. Right?
Oh yeah.
That was just a great, like,
it is a great
like pickup. Like, it's like, again, like the director's freaking amazing because she's able to really hit that. It was a fun episode. Absolutely.
For those who don't read the comics, Agent 13, Sharon Carter, is a very, very important character.
Yeah.
Peggy Carter is as well. But Sharon in the modern books, obviously the girlfriend to Steve Rogers, which I get it. It's weird, but get over it. The dude went into the ice. His first girl died. He gets the grandniece. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. And now they're dealing with like him going back possibly in time to be back with the grandmother, I guess. And then now but it's a great setup because now I have a lot of faith in the director into having the conversation now with Agent Carter. Like, because like the last thing you said, like the last thing that we've seen her in movie form was her kissing Captain America, Steve Rogers, to go save his friends. That was it. She lived through the blip. She is living as I guess a semi. It's not stockbroker, but like she's definitely on the shadier side of things.
She's laundering money.
Laundering something.
And Zemo kind of hinted at it a little bit, that he kind of knows what she's doing. By the way, side note, did not see this until I read some of the notes going into this to our recording, that Baron Zemo was in possession of Steve Rogers' notebook. I don't know how he got that. It may have maybe I have to rewatch it again. Maybe Bucky slipped it to him. I can't remember, but I remember there's a couple of references to the notebook, of course, with Marvin Gaye and the Running Man, which was another callback to Winter Soldier, which I thought was great, where Baron Zemo was like, yes, it's a great album. I can't do a Sokovian accent.
He's wrong for that, but he's wrong for that, but he's absolutely right.
But
man, they need these three. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what it is. They need these three. They need these three.
So good. Sebastian Stan, Anthony Mackie, and Daniel Brohl are great together. This should be the Falcon and Winter Soldier Zemo show. But we do get to see Agent Carter come back. Sharon Carter, that is. Come back. Emily Van Camp, by the way, absolutely perfect Sharon Carter. Go back and read Fallen Son, which is of course the death of Captain America. And spoiler alert, she's the one who assassinates Steve Rogers.
Yep.
Of course, Crossbones wings him, but Sharon gets the close up shot and kills him. Of course, it's rewritten out of history that he didn't technically die, blah 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 blah. You know, because there's never a final death in comics. I think the only one who's ever stayed dead has been Uncle Ben.
Yeah,
but again, reading the books even before we saw Emily Van Camp play Sharon Carter in The Winter Soldier, I have books, and that's her. Emily Van Camp looks exactly like her. She's fantastic, and a job well done. She's really epitomized that character, and I think she's played the character better in this show. And the reason I say that is because in the comic book, Sharon Carter's a bitch. She really is a bitch, and I mean that in the nicest way possible, because it's she has to be. She, you know, yes, she's Steve Rogers' girlfriend. She cares about Steve. She cares about everything that he does, but she works for Shield. And I think at one point she runs Shield, and she has to be this heartless, ruthless kind of a director. Absolutely. So, and I think in this episode and throughout this show, you're going to see Emily Van Camp play the Sharon Carter role a little bit more ruthless, and of course that leads to something we'll talk about later on in the show. So again, we get introduced to her, we're getting introduced to Madripoor, and this is not where you would like to walk through. This is definitely not, you know, the greatest neighborhood.
Another thing too that I would like to that kind of a little bit broke me out of immersion, right? They've said before that Madripoor is an Asian city, right? An Asian denizen, right? No Asians. No Asians at all, from what I saw. Maybe there was an Asian one or two in the bar scene, right? But they're like, had the heavy beards and all that, so you can't really see them. Or maybe of Asian descent. Maybe we had some New Zealanders in there, sure, some API representation. But like, you would think that in an Asian city, specifically even in like in the rougher side of towns, you would have at least, maybe at least 3 to 4 Asians just roaming about, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's a very multicolored place. Absolutely, a lot of foreigners, a lot of different ethnicities, but no Asians for an Asian city. Interesting. I don't know. It was just that was the one thing that like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. It's like going to I don't know, Ohio, right? Going to like the farmland in Ohio and finding Japanese people there. Just nothing but Japanese people.
Yeah.
Right? Like, kind of weird, but cool. All right. Yeah. Interesting. So
it is what it is. It is. We're finding out that, again, that since Sharon Carter is on the run, if you're on the run and you're a bad guy, or your name is Logan, where do you go? You go to Madripoor. That's where we found out why Sharon Carter is there. And we're now setting up an opportunity. What we're after in this episode is we're trying to track down the super soldier serum. Who is making this serum? The last time we saw it done successfully, Steve Rogers. They did versions of them under Dr. Zola's version. They created the Winter Soldier program. It stayed in Russia. We of course saw the quote 5 dead Russians in Civil War. Zemo's the one who goes back, I think, and kills them, and they're still in their cryo state chambers. But we know that there's other serum out there. There's other stuff out there that are creating the super soldiers, because we know that, okay, they were in Russia, but we also know that they were in the United States, and we don't know, did the formula that the United States government used on guys like Isaiah Bradley, was it Dr. Erskine's formula? Was it Dr. Zola's formula? Was it a mutated version of it? Because obviously we saw Isaiah just very, he has the superhuman powers, but he's not okay. He's a little on edge, which his comic book character was.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Well, that too, and like when they put him in jail for, I think he said 30 years.
Yeah,
and just do nothing but like splice his freaking his whole body up to get blood work and all that. It does things to a man. So yeah, absolutely, he's on edge. Absolutely.
we see a quick. I just thought this was funny.
Yeah.
We see this quick bar scene. Obviously, it's setting up. Agent Carter. I'm sorry, Sharon Carter is trying to set up a meeting
Yeah.
to meet one of these potentially power broker or someone making the super soldier serum. There's a dance club they're in, and of course they've got some kind of song track playing, and everyone's kind of looking around. You've got
Mm.
you know Bucky kind of looking around trying to look incognito because dude's got a metal arm,
Yeah.
and you've got the smiling tiger over here is trying to be incognito. The best part, totally, was goes in there watching this scene, going, "Why is this scene in here? Why are they having a dance club scene?" And seeing Daniel Brohl's Zemo for a second try to do the white boy cha cha for
Yeah.
about 3.5 seconds.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Worth
Worth
it.
it. It was
Yeah.
so funny because you see him as hard ass of a character as he is, as a ruthless, villainous, vile human being that Baron Helmet Zemo is.
Yeah.
He's still trying to be like he's human. He's like, it's kind of a catchy tune, but at the same time, he's trying to kind of blend in,
Yeah.
nonetheless. So, um,
And also just I forgot to talk this hand. The first song track, right, where they go where everyone goes into that bar or tries to like they walk through the streets of Lower Town. Filipino song. I forgot the name of it, but like it's definitely it was in Tagalog, and so like hey, representation, but there's no Asians in that scene. I understand why there's no Asian in that scene because COVID. They probably shot in Atlanta. But like it'd be nice to to have at least one or two Asians there.
well,
But other than that, go ahead.
that's what I'm kind of curious about
Yeah.
is where is Tunisia?
Tunisia?
Yeah.
Tunisia should be in
Isn't
Tunisia
that
should
in Africa?
1 second.
Because the flag that is on the back of Emily Van Camp, on the back of Sharon Carter's car,
Yeah.
looks to be a Tunisian flag. So obviously that could be a giveaway to where either where they were filming or and it's just an oversight. Yeah. The it's in North Africa.
Yeah, North Africa.
So there's a Tunisian flag was on the back of Sharon Carter's car, her Mercedes or whatever she's driving.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, they mentioned Madripoor though is in
it's in South Asia.
It's in Southeast Asia, in the Indian Ocean, I believe.
Yeah, even the reference background of your even the reference of your background right there is actually it's like Taiwan. The reference they're using is Taiwan. So
yeah,
a lot of Madripoor is heavily referencing Eastern and in specifically Hong Kong because of all the neon signs in Asian city. And so I don't know why the Tunisia thing wasn't heard. Well, granted, it's probably because if they were shooting in Tunisia, right, they had to have some some form of like, oh, actually we shot it here, and so that's the reason why that's the reason why they're able to shoot it there or something, to give some level of like, oh, we were funded just a little bit to shoot here. So I get that part. The business side of shooting in certain places, you have to kind of give them a leg or give them a pat in the back, so they give you a pat in the back. So
I will say this, kind of a kind of a funny little reference to Madripoor, or going back into the episode. They say Madripoor, you talk about it like it's Skull Island. I thought it was kind of a cool callback. Of course, Godzilla vs. Kong came out this past weekend on HBO Max. Go check it out. I already watched it. We'll talk about it probably next week. So, by the way, we'll take a little break for a moment here. We're still up in the air, but most likely episode number 41, our regular episode, we're probably not going to record this week because of the holiday. So, by the way, if you're watching this or listening to this on Saturday or Sunday or around the holiday, happy Easter from us. So, but I'm looking to see where they talk about the location. But I think they said it was like in Southeast Asia. In the comic books, they always make it sound like it's like way off in the boonies or whatever
else. Yeah, it's just that it's supposed to be a mutant, specifically a mutant, like home, right?
Yeah,
or not home, but like just some place where mutants go to disappear, type of thing, right? To avoid the subjection of their people and all that stuff like that. And so that's the reason why we have a lot of a lot of references to Wolverine, because that's his spot for a hot minute. Yeah,
so it's Madripoor in the MCU is a fictional country in the Southeast Asia. It sounds like that's the same callback in the actual comic continuity. that it's a Southeast Asian. And yeah, you're right. It does have that very kind of a not Bangkok, but to me, when it filmed it, it looked like
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong
Yes,
or
I'm at Hong Kong, not
Tokyo.
Bangkok. Yeah.
Because Bangkok's a little bit more working class.
Yeah.
It's an upscale working class, whatever you want to call it, town. I haven't been there, but just picture the scene.
Yeah.
But
I'm in Hong Kong.
nonetheless,
Yeah.
great action scene. By the way, we get to meet a character. I wanted to try to find out what the character's name, but we get to find
the only Asian in the in the episode.
Well, no, there's the character that we meet that is assassinated, that talks about the super soldier serum and whatnot, but he's inevitably
the doctor?
The doctor, he's assassinated. And he talks about being a part of Hydra and working on the program. Of course, he's killed by a sniper. Maybe one to believe that this could be either the power broker or someone hired by the power broker.
Wait. What? What? The doctor was assassinated? No.
The doctor is, isn't the doctor shot, or no, is it just the rocket launcher? No.
Zemo
shoots him. You're right. Yeah. Zemo finds his gun, shoots him, and then there's a rocket launcher that comes in. The Selby was sniped.
Zemo was that. Yeah, Selby was assassinated. Zemo, that is well within his character progression. Like I'm the only reason why I'm helping you because there's more super soldiers.
Got the information, cut off the head, almost very kind of Hydra-esque.
Yeah, basically, you're the guy that perfected the serum. All right, then plop, you're dead. Cool.
Great action sequence. Yeah, great action sequence with Agent Carter, or Sharon Carter, beating up a bunch of bad guys. Of course, then the rocket launcher comes out and blows a hole in their little the little container headquarters that they were working on the super soldier serum. Sam, Bucky, and Sharon all get out, but where is the Baron? Where is Zemo? Where is Helmet at? They have a little shootout with some of the bad guys. They get pinned down. Of course, they're arguing like, "I told you to go left. You went right." And again,
in the movies, you always go left.
The great campiness, the great hey buddy cop movie, work, and then one of the greatest scenes, in my opinion, so far in this show, and might be in the MCU. We see Daniel Brawl walking down the top of one of the containers. They pan up from behind him. He slips on the helmet, and then we see full on Baron von Zemo, or Baron Helmet Zemo.
Yeah,
mind you, this guy was a Sokovian Black Ops, Green Beret, freaking Navy SEAL badass. This guy was a decorated war hero in Sokovia, and it was basically like if you mixed Captain America with Peggy Carter. He was heavy into espionage, but he was a military badass.
If you mix Captain America with Revenge.
Yes. But seeing him in the mask, oh God, just good. Like
looks good.
So good. Because I can look at that background that the JR has, and I still don't believe it. That was, of course, the teaser that they released at San Diego Comic-Con in 2019. Now, of course, we get another Civil War callback where they all pile into another one of Zemo's cars to get away. Sharon is not going to go with them. She's going to stay to keep her cover in Madripoor. And of course, Sam, you're not going to move your seat up, are you?
Nope.
Bucky, nope. And again, a call back to the bug scene. So we see Sharon Carter walk away from the boys. She meets up with a female associate with one of her cars. Talks about like those guys. We got a couple of troublemakers.
Yeah,
and it's alluded to. Are she talking about Bucky and Sam? So who is Sharon Carter working for?
Yeah,
is she working for the power broker? Is she working for Hydra? We don't know. So there is so much, and there we get our Asian. We get our Asian JR. We get an Asian talking. I don't know what the character's name is. I'll find out. Talking with Carly Morgenthau. She's starting to show a little bit of emotion. She's seen the effects of these refugees from the blip get sick and die. So it's like she wants to help, but so it's like, does she want to help them? Does she not want to help them? Where does she stand on this? She's starting to show her emotions. She started to crack as a human being.
Yeah.
But we find out that Carly is a super soldier. And we
Yeah.
find out that this other person that she's talking to, our token Asian for the episode,
Mm-hmm.
also is a super soldier.
Yeah, well, granted, I think we always kind of knew that though, because like Carly, we saw that in the first episode or second episode, where she basically kicks Bucky out of the van or out of the tank.
Dovich is the token Asian character. Sorry.
Oh, cool.
I wanted to look it up so we had a reference point.
He's either from Australia or New Zealand, but I definitely heard his accent. So cool. Still though, great. We have representation there. It's just that yeah, I just again, just kind of flash, just kind of go a little bit forward, and then we see what Carly and our token agent does. Dovich. We see with Dovich, what they do is basically, they infiltrate this compound, I guess. It was compound or this brigade or something. I don't know what it's called. And they take their food and everything, 6 months supplies of it, and they leave. You see Carly, closing a door as one of the guards there says something to her. I forgot what necessarily, right? And like, yeah, okay, cool. You're supposed to be seen as the bad guy, and then you see her get into the car with Dovich, right? He said that, oh, you're not checking in the other car, and he said, she's like saying, oh, put on your seatbelt, blah blah blah. The car explodes and sets fire to the house that the guards were in, and the guy goes, "There's people still in there," and then she goes, "Well, this is the only thing they would know. This is the language they speak," and like as like it I like where they're going, because I like where they're doing this, because initially, right, we're supposed to feel some type of way with this character by saying that, oh, she's a freedom fighter. She's absolutely a freedom fighter. She's only taking things. She's a Robin Hood character. She's taking things from the rich to give to the poor. The only reason why she's using this. Oh, they also talk about the super serum, about how it sets their veins on fire and all that stuff, and how she stole all of it or whatever is left of it. And
now that was also too. It's kind of interesting. I caught that. That's also kind of a callback. The serum going through their veins, like making them feel like they're on fire, is kind of like with the serum that they used in Iron Man 2, and also kind of hinted at in Iron Man 2 and
no, Iron Man 2.
No, is it Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3? Iron Man 3, I apologize. Iron Man 3.
Okay.
And Agents of Shield is now it's the Centipede program. Oh god dang it. Now I can't remember the name.
As you remember,
it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back to me here.
Back to the point. It was she kills we were supposed to see her initially. Carly was like, oh no, she's a freedom fighter, she's supposed to be one of the good guys, right? And then she just fucking literally sets people aflame, right? Guards who were just doing their job, and she sees like, no, they're bad guys. They had all this food, right? And again, granted, I like my initial point at the beginning. In this show, what it does so well is that they just said people. They're just people. Yeah. There's no good, there's no bad, but there's people motivations. They have their own motivations, and Carly immediately has her own motivations, to the point where she's willing to kill people who are just kind of just doing their job. Yes, they can see as bad guys because they held food, right? But then we don't know why they're holding those food. We're holding no food, right? What happens if like the whole city goes into a type of like starvation, famine type of thing, right? And they're holding that food just in case. And it's just more so they're playing her character very much of that, that young, exuberant, doe-eyed, oh no, I'm definitely a freedom fighter type of thing, and I will do whatever is necessary because I need to get my point across, right? Yeah. And yeah, it's like she's definitely fitting her she's definitely fitting the times of today, right? In the sense of like activism in a certain sense, where like they'll do whatever is necessary, right?
Yeah.
And then she bring that question, all right, cool, are you willing to kill people in order to get your point across? I love how the subversion in there, what the director is doing, like, all right, let's do this then. You wanted to, this girl, she just killed 12 people, setting them aflame. What up now?
So real quick, flashback to Dovich, our character, as we get closer to the end of this episode. Desmond Chiam, I think is how you say his name. You're right, was born in Melbourne, Australia. However, he is born to Chinese Singaporean parents. He did go to the University of Southern California as a screenwriter. It's supposedly, not only does he act in this episode as Dovich, but he also, though he's not listed as a writer, he is kind of loosely credited as a like almost like a writer's kind of like a not an assistant, but like kind of, I'm gonna give you some help. I'm gonna give you some pointers. Yeah, kind of like so. Anyways, so now we're now in Latvia, not Latveria, not where we got confused last week. We're in back in Latvia. And we see Helmet, Zemo, Bucky Barnes, and Sam Wilson gonna hide out a little bit. And he goes, you know what? I'm gonna take a walk. So Bucky starts walking through the streets. He starts picking up these little marbles, and they kind of they're kind of giving off a little high pitched sound. And he's like, "I'll be right back, guys." And he picks one up that's near their hideout. He starts walking through the streets, finds some more. He goes, "You drop these." He goes to an alleyway. He turns around, can't find anybody. He turns around again. He goes, and kind of like, "Who? Like, oh, what are you? Like, what are you doing?" I'm kind of like, "I'm right here. Talk to me." And he turns around. Let me rewind this a little bit here. I want to get the the dialogue here. And so Bucky goes down this aisleway, and now mind you, I'm thinking that we're going to because I immediately caught onto the little marbles, what they were, and I went, "Oh, this is either Nakia or it's going to be Okoye." Because if you remember, or even Shuri, because they used those, they had those little bead bracelets that did different things, the technology in Wakanda. So we turn around, and it's not
any of those characters.
It's not any of those characters. We get a callback to a character that we really didn't get to meet officially. And we, other than her just yelling at Black Widow to move.
Or would be moved.
And of course, God bless his soul, Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa goes, "A fight I'd like to see," and we get to see this little remember, and I just had the notes here of what the character's name is, and I'm gonna pull it up again here. It's Ayo. Ayo. And this is a canon character. This is an official character in the Marvel universe. She is part of the how do you say it? The Dora.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm not gonna butcher that name. I am not gonna butcher that name.
So she goes, "I am here for Zemo." And they just kind of a stare down and scene. Now, I will say this real quick. I am a huge fan of the music too, of this show, and it is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the guy who is scoring this show is the same guy who did Civil War, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll have to look it up. But we are expected to get part one of the soundtrack. For those of you who are music nerds, we are supposed to get the first part. It was a 2-part soundtrack release. We were supposed to get it this weekend. We have not gotten it yet. Henry Jackman is the composer. He actually, I take that back. Henry Jackman did Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So there's another callback. He also did Captain America: Civil War. He also did Wreck-It Ralph. And he also did X-Men First Class. So great composer. I just want to point that out. Just a great part of the show is the music. Again, home run by
Kevin
Feige.
But going back to Ayo.
Ayo.
So, but I'm so glad they went with her, right? Because we all know Okoye.
Oh
We all
yeah,
know, and as much as I would love to see Danny back, right? She's currently doing. I'm hoping that she's still. No, I think she stopped doing
uh,
Walking
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 Dead.
Dead. Yeah, but she's doing something. I know that for sure. But I'm glad we have her because, like, again, a great strong character that I would love to know more about. And the thing that I love that Marvel's doing is that they're really giving a lot of screen time to characters. Right? It's not more so the big seven anymore. It's not RDJ, it's not Chris Hemsworth, it's not Chris Evans. It's not all these. It's not the major characters in the movies that will be blockbuster names. It's now we're giving more screen time to like Baron Zemo. We're giving more screen time to Bucky, and to definitely to freaking Sam. Right?
Yeah,
We're giving way more screen time to these characters and letting their characters flesh out because of just how invested everything is now. We took them. It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. From beginning to now, for us to have this as fans, right? To see what is the inner workings of living a life of a superhero, of living a life after a cosmic blip, of living with the after effects and coming back to life per se too. And it's a great conversation to see. It's a great, it's definitely a great scenario to see and witness on screen. And we have now a lot of characters that can really, really, really just kind of shine in these, in these one-offs. And if not one-offs, but like more so stories. I would love to have Io. I would love to have the actress, if I could see her name, or Florence Kasumba. I would love her to be in, what if they make a possible Wakandan storyline where it features her and other ones of her of the Kingsguard basically in just having
God,
Dora. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not
nope,
gonna
I
butcher that
understand.
name. Yeah, but yeah,
I
just having her again. Just what if they give her? What if they gave her specifically a spot? Like, hey, okay, cool. What's going in Wakanda, right? What's gonna go in Wakanda, and hopefully that will trying to or not transgress, but trying to reveal what's going on in the world of Wakanda after the blip. That would be nice to see specifically. And so having Florence come back
yeah.
and possibly being in the next maybe one episode, maybe two
Also,
episodes, it'd be
yeah, we'll
nice.
see what will happen when it happens next week. Of course, every a week on Friday, the new episode
Mhm.
comes out, and then of course we'll do record our podcast shortly thereafter.
Yep.
Janisha Adams Ginyard is a name that some of us here locally know, and JR, you and I had talked about Janisha on the
Yeah.
phone earlier today. I had
Yep.
said that she was working on Falcon the Winter Soldier, possibly now that Ayo is debuted. Of course, for those who keep you up to speed, Janisha Adams Ginyard she's a local. She lives in
Mhm.
Cathedral City, and she is a stunt double. She
Yep.
is, of course, a for to put too blunt a point on it, a black woman,
Yep.
and she has a very similar look to what the young lady that plays Okoye.
Yep.
What's her name?
One second. So I gotta go back to it now because
Yeah, you
I
just
don't
had it.
choose this last
But
name. Yeah.
she was the
Florence.
stunt double.
Florence.
Florence. She was the stunt double for Okoye in both Black Panther and Infinity War and Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
I've met her. She's fabulous. She's a great person, easy to
Yeah.
talk to. But I had thought that she had worked on this film, which made me think maybe she was working for as a stunt double for AO. She's not. I was mistaken. She actually worked on WandaVision. She was Monica Rambeau's stunt double, and it's unique to see Janisha go from the crazy lengths that she went for Black Panther and for the Infinity Saga or the Infinity War and Endgame, where she
Mm.
shaved her head
Yeah.
or put a skull cap on, and then she goes the full other side and has this gigantic, like just poofed out hair like Monica Rambeau did. So
Mm.
I was mistaken. I thought she was working on this. Maybe her IMDb page hasn't been updated, but she does not have
Yeah.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So
Mm.
maybe does AO come back? maybe they haven't released the information yet. Maybe they'll give her credit next week. They don't want to have stuff get out there. So I was wrong. I don't know if I said it on the air, but I mentioned to you earlier that I thought that Janisha was working on this show, but I think it's because she was working on WandaVision.
Yeah.
Where would you rank so far? We're at the halfway point. This is this is usually in regular TV land. Usually we would have gotten 10 episodes, 30 minutes or less, about 30 minutes on a 20 episode season. We get that Christmas break where they're going to be off for a couple of weeks. We're not getting that. There's no break, but this is the halfway point. Where do you stand on the 3 episodes so far of Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
That was the best Marvel. It's the best thing to come out this year for Marvel.
Yeah,
easily.
I would put this is genuine. This has genuinely gotten better with every episode.
Yeah.
Episode 1 came at you, kicked you in the teeth, or kicked you in the gut, stone cold stunner, you know, talking some shit in your face like Austin does. But then I'm like, okay, and we all said, where do they go from here? Okay. They slowed the pace down a little bit in episode 2, told some stories, gave you some drama. So it's like a wrestling match. They came out, bam, 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 whip you into the rope, hip toss, punch, whatever how a wrestling match can get. So you're firing on all cylinders. And then you start to tell the story. Why are you here? Work the legs, work the arm, whatever. And that's what they did in episode 2. And this one, a little bit of both. Got to put a high spot in there. Tell another, again, continue to tell the story. And that's what they're doing in episode number 3. And this was a great episode. We get to see Madripoor. So really expanding the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, we've gone to space. You know, we were primarily for the better part of 10 years. The Marvel Cinematic Universe existed in Malibu, New Mexico, New York, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco with Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So 5 to 6 metropolitan cities within the United States. Yes, we went to Asgard in space. Yes, we went all over the galaxy with the Guardians.
Yeah. And now we have, of course, we are the Wakanda.
We have Wakanda. We have Sokovia. We now have Madripoor. We have, we did go to Seoul, South Korea in Age of Ultron. I apologize. So really, but again, those are name brand cities. Those are well known. We haven't thought outside the box. Now, we went to Westview, a little wink to Pleasant Hill within Westview and WandaVision. Yes, it's still technically inside the United States. Is there a Westview, New Jersey? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but it is kind of a unique town to the Marvel universe and now to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But Madripoor, this is huge. It's to me, Madripoor, this is Wakanda level name drop right here. This is huge. I think the only thing at this point that can top this and Wakanda is the inevitable Latveria, which we know we're headed towards.
Yeah.
But it is, again, I love that within the globe, that within the blue and green sphere that we call Earth, our home, they have expanded the Marvel Cinematic Universe and are really beginning to explore that there is so much going on around this world. It's been a great show so far.
Yeah. I really just, again, like it's amazing how well put this show has been. It's very much like you're just in it, you understand everything, you get the lingo, and just more so just like this is how you do things properly, right? You set up 10 years of Marvel of Marvel history, right? With everything else. And then so when you're in these these shows, right, these season shows, we know exactly what's going on, they set you up to know what's going on as a fan or even as a newcomer too. And they're doing it incredibly well. It's so well put together. I keep on saying it, man, just give Kari whatever she wants.
Absolutely.
Give her whatever she wants. You need to keep her in your stable. You need that director to hopefully push onwards. Oh, and also another thing too, it was before I forget, I actually just forgot about this and during our what issues to get from last week. We also I totally forgot of that. The nephew, Bradley's nephew.
Yes. What was his name?
He's actually a character in the comics. He's gonna be
Yeah.
Patriot in New Avengers. Did we talk
Yeah,
about that?
but
No.
I did mention, but I couldn't remember the character's name.
Patriot. Yeah.
No. But he's something Bradley. What's his first name?
Oh, his first name is Eli.
Eli, that's it. Eli Bradley
Yeah.
is a character. He is the Patriot, basically another reincarnation of Captain America. He is the Young Avengers version of Captain America.
Yeah.
I want to say that when the Champions came back a couple of years ago, and they kind of started this "we're all champions" kind of mantra. That I want to say Elijah Bradley came. Was that right? Was it Elijah? Is that what you said it was?
This is Eli.
Or is it Elijah or Eli?
Just Eli.
Eli. I apologize. Eli Bradley and then Isaiah is the grandfather or the uncle, or whatever. I think he was. I think
you can say Elijah.
Yeah. I thinking that is the version of Captain America that comes out with the Champions. I want to say it's like Champions Volume 3 or 4. It came out a couple of years ago. And it's the Kamala Khan, Viv, Nova, Totally Awesome Hulk, Braun, I guess his name. That version of Champions. And actually, they have like a Go ahead.
No, actually the Eli Bradley that I see is from the Young Avengers cover in 2005. It might be there's three characters or three Marvel characters that had the name of Patriot throughout the history of Marvel. From what I'm seeing, Golden Age was a hero named Jeffrey Mace. Modern days, of course, Eli Bradley, which he was in Avengers.
Jeffrey Mace is the version of the Patriot from Agents of Shield. That's
there you go. So that one, and Eli is from what I'm saying, Eli was in the 2005 Young Avengers.
Yeah, or he was on the cover of Young Avengers. Yeah, Young Avengers #1, I believe.
And then there's a new character, a more modern character named Rashawn Lucas.
And it's a black character.
Yep.
Yeah, then that's who I'm thinking of.
Let me just double check.
Let's see, Champions.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That he's definitely in Champions.
Okay, so this is what's his name?
Yeah, that is Rashawn Lucas is the one in Champions. Eli Bradley, he looks the age. I'm pretty sure they might have him for that.
You want to know why? Know why? Because was it Rashawn, the version of the Patriot or Captain America?
Yeah,
he's not the Patriot. He looks like the Patriot, but I think he is a Captain America. But he's not from this universe. He got crossed over. I want to say he comes from another multiverse. Again, I could be wrong. I have to go back and reference that Champions. But either way, people are alluding to that maybe that version, that character, Isaiah's grandson or nephew, whoever it is, maybe he's more than just a plant. But maybe this is a guy who's actually going to come back and join the rumored Young Avengers cast. So
also, since we're talking about it now, possibly looking forward, and I made it known before that Carly, they took 20 vials of super serum of super soldier serum, and that there's a big possibility that she's gonna use those serum on more of her type of people, right? Her people, right, to take back the world or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Could we see a possibility of having that Elijah Bradley, take up his grandfather's mantle?
Could be.
Possibly. Maybe he will be the Patriot that we will see. And so there's a lot of possible possibilities and a lot of good, just things to think about when we're definitely going to finish this series. Just think about going forward. And so, again, guys, great.
Let us know in the let us know in the comments below what was your favorite part of this episode. Where do you think it's going to go? We've reached the halfway point. Mind you, this is only a 6-episode show, guys. Yes, they're an hour long, but we only have 3 more weeks that will take us to the end of April. And then guess what? We have the entire month of May off from content like this from Marvel. However, the reason that they're taking the month of March off, the month of May off, is because they're going to switch back over to the Lucasfilms, the Star Wars universe for the month of May. And on May the 4th, we get the Bad Batch. We get another animated series coming to the Filoniverse. And again, can't wait for it. They've been heavily promoting it. And it looks like everyone's favorite Asian, Ming-Na Wen, I believe, is going to play a character in the Bad Batch. Is she going to be playing? Is she playing her character from The Mandalorian?
Yeah, she's
playing. Oh, it's great! I cannot wait. But this is from the Bad Batch. Is of course from the same kind of lineage of Clone Wars, Rebels. But this is a Dave Filoni pet project that he's been wanting to get off the ground. And this was a massive unveiling back in December at that now famous investors meeting. So can't wait. So that's what they're doing in the month of May. May the 4th comes out on Disney Plus, and then June 11th we get Loki. Cannot wait for Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. Cannot wait for that. It's gonna be great. But we've got 3 more episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier ahead of us. JR, it's always a pleasure, and I cannot wait for next week. So, all right, guys, let us know what we like about it. Comments below, or if you're listening to us on wherever podcasts you listen to, please subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review and comments about what you like, what you dislike about the show. Hit us up on social media at PS Comics I Love You, or PS Comics I Love the letter U on Twitter. PS Comics I Love You at gmail.com is our official email address. And check us out. All right, JR, as always, guys, stay cool out there, and peace.